Attendees are in listen-only mode.
Welcome everybody, this is Matthew Jones from Tourism Victoria. I just want to thank all the signature agents for attending today. Much appreciated. I have three lovely ladies presenting with me today. I have Lisa Cullen from South Australia Tourism Commission. I have Amanda Ladd from Northern Territory and Sandy Nerlich from Western Australia. We're going to run through a little bit of There's Nothing Like Australia Nature and Wildlife today. Each state's going to be presenting on a three-night itinerary that your clients can enjoy in each of their fabulous regions. And then we're going to finish off with a little bit of a signature promotion from some of your great preferred wholesalers that you can book all these reservations through. So without further ado, you're all in listen-only mode at the moment. We'll reserve the questions towards the end of the presentation. So thank you very much, and we'll just jump straight into it. So if we can move to the first slide, so I can just welcome everybody to Victoria. So as I stated, my name is Matthew Jones. I'm with Tourism Victoria. I'm originally from Ballarat, Victoria, which is about an hour outside of Melbourne. The next slide that you'll be looking at there it just gives everybody an example of where Victoria is located in relation to Australia. We are Australia's smallest mainland state. We have direct flights into Melbourne daily on Qantas, flying the A380, and then 3 times a week on Virgin Australia. This next slide that's just coming up for you is what I like to call the method behind the madness of Tourism Victoria. So we break our state up into different regions. Some of the regions that I'm going to be highlighting in this presentation for you are, as the theme is nature and wildlife. I'm going to briefly touch on Melbourne City, as this is our iconic attraction. Then we're going to be looking at number 5 there, which is Phillip Island, and number 6, which is the Great Ocean Road, of course. But today we're going to be highlighting a specific operator called Echidna Walkabout. But firstly, on to Melbourne. So the slide coming up next now talks about our events. The Australian Open Tennis, which just was completed in January, is our signature hallmark event in Melbourne. 2 weeks, the back end of January, is the first Grand Slam of the year. Melbourne also hosts the F1 Grand Prix. That's coming up next month in March. We're the only city in the world to host both those events. You're able to walk to each of the events as well from the CBD area, and some fantastic accommodation. This slide that's coming up now highlights that accommodation. So I just wanted to point out a few accommodation samples for you. Crown Hotels, fantastic properties along the South Bank area. Then the Grand and Park Hyatt hotels, also located in that CBD area. They're our top echelon product. You're looking at 5- and 4-star products amongst the Crown Hotels and Grand Park Hyatt. Just wanted to give a little bit of variety too. The Travelodge hotels are located on the South Bank area, right behind the Crowns, a great location. And then if you're looking for something a little bit different, we have this great hotel chain called the Art Series Hotels, the Cullen, the Olsen, the Blackman. These are artist-influenced hotels that take on the theme of each of the artists. And of course the Lindrum Hotel, which is located in the CBD. This hotel is historical significant. It used to actually be a billiard hall, and it still has the original billiard table in its lobby. So it's something of a bit of point of difference. This slide now is very visually unappealing, but I just wanted to highlight this is Melbourne CBD. As you can see, it's very compact, easily walkable. Every hotel I just discussed there, you're able to walk in amongst the CBD. So don't want you to look at that slide too much. Just wanted to so you could get a feel of the city. Some key experiences that you can do in Melbourne: hot air ballooning, Hidden Secrets is a walking tour, and the Colonial Tramcar, of course, which is located on the Melbourne Key Experiences slide there. That's what we do in the city. Then I just wanted to quickly jump out to the Phillip Island Nature Park. You can do this with day tour operators. This tour, you'll go out to Phillip Island, which is the largest concentration of wildlife in Australia. 32,000 little penguins call this place home, and you can do this with a multitude of day operators: Go West Tours, Melbourne Private Journeys, and also Bunyip, not to mention AAT Kings and APT. Then another day tour, the Echidna Walkabout is our next day tour. Janine Duffy, who is a huge supporter of the North American market, has won a multitude of awards throughout Australian tourism, all about conservation and volunteerism. Janine and her husband have designed this company to be all about ecotourism, so you can see koalas and kangaroos in the wildlife in just a short day tour. Their location in the Yuyangs is only a short 40 minutes from Melbourne City, so another great day tour option for you. The next slide is just my contact details. I would just like to thank Signature Travel Network for the opportunity to present to you all today. Thank you all for taking the time out to listen to not only Victoria but the rest of the great states that are partners in this program, and we really appreciate your support. And after that, I'd just like to hand it over to the lovely Lisa Cohen to talk about our friends in South Australian Tourism Commission. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Matt. Yes, this is Lisa Cohen. I am the Communications Manager here in LA for the South Australian Tourism Commission, and wanted to give you an overview of South Australia and its fantastic nature and wildlife experiences. So you'll see on the map here where South Australia is located in relation to the other states and some of the gateway cities. South Australia is 1.5 times the size of Texas, so it's a really big state, and probably the biggest draw is that it offers such a diverse array of experiences, from the abundance of wildlife, the iconic outback with the wildlife present there, and of course its world-famous wine regions. So the capital city of Adelaide that you'll see here is accessible from all of Australia's major cities. So as far as flight times, it's just over an hour from Melbourne, 2 hours from Sydney, 2.5 hours from Brisbane, and then from Darwin and Perth, it's just 3 to 3.5 hours. So once you get to the capital city of Adelaide, it's really easy to tailor the itinerary that really get the best of the nature and wildlife of South Australia. And one of those must-visit destinations is Kangaroo Island, which is a natural haven for wildlife in the wild. And it's, there's incredible wilderness landscapes and a ton of wildlife that reside there. So the enduring appeal of Kangaroo Island is just its rugged beauty and its wildlife. And you can see here a ton of icons. You have koalas hidden in the trees, kangaroos and wallabies are found tucked away in the bushlands, and 100 species of birds are always flying about you. And where there's an island, there's marine life as well. It's home to Seal Bay, which is a private stretch of beach where you can actually walk along a colony of the native sea lions and the fur seals. And they reside here naturally, so the guides will take you down personally to the sands and get up close to them. There are also little fairy penguins, other marine creatures that interest divers. And as far as accommodation, Kangaroo Island has really been getting its acclaim in recent years because of Southern Ocean Lodge. It was named the 3rd best hotel in the world this year by Travel and Leisure, #1 in the South Pacific. And if you pick up an issue of Condé Nast Traveler this month, you'll see the hotel featured in there as well. So needless to say, it's a big draw for luxury travelers to experience the ultimate secluded experience, but also get up close with the wildlife and nature that it's known for. And in addition to Kangaroo Island, there are other regions of South Australia that offer amazing marine adventures and other iconic wildlife. This is the Eyre Peninsula, which is just 45 minutes off the coast of Adelaide by flight. And this is where you can really jump in the waters and get some of those aquatic adventures, like swimming with the sea lions, cage diving with great white sharks, swimming with the tuna. And it's also known as the seafood capital for Australia. So this is where you get the Coffin Bay oysters. You can take a boat out, pick them right out of the waters, and enjoy them on a lovely afternoon. And then you can't forget the Flinders Ranges in the outback. This is an extraordinary destination and a natural environment that really is unique to the world. I think the wildlife is a large component of what draws people up here, in addition to its incredible scenery. And it's very accessible from Adelaide. And within 4 hours drive, you can really begin to see the iconic red dirt roads. And there's a ton of wildlife roaming around. There's emus, wallabies, birdlife, and field guides that are all up and know the region very well will pull together fantastic geological history. They know the wildlife. They'll show you the secret spots of the landscape and really captures the sights and sounds of the Australian outback. So how do you put this all together? Of course, there's a lot to see with limited time. So if you're packaging it within the itinerary, Adelaide is definitely a worthy starting point to spend a good day. There's the galleries. You can tour the Central Market, take a tram ride to Glenelg Beach. You can actually even jump in the water there and swim with some dolphins if you wanted to. And then we just slotted in here for Kangaroo Island for those extra couple days. It's plenty of time. You want to at least allow 2 or 3 days to get and see the icons of the island. Seal Bay, Flinders Chase National Park. You'll do your 4-wheel drive wildlife touring, as well as your food safari touring. There's a lot to offer on Mount Rome. So that's the gist of nature and wildlife in South Australia, and John and I are always available to answer your questions, and we appreciate you taking the time to hear all about it. So I will go ahead and pass this off to Amanda to talk about Northern Territory.
Thanks, Lisa. Hi, everyone. My name's Amanda. I'm the Sales and Marketing Coordinator for Tourism Northern Territory, and I'm going to talk to you about Australia's Outback, as we endearingly call our fantastic state. So just to give you an idea of how large we are, you'll see a map on the next, there we go. We're about 3 times the size of California, so we are quite large and very proud of our state. We're going to focus in on Alice Springs, which you can see near the bottom of the territory, near Uluru and Ayers Rock, in the heart of the Red Center. Alice Springs is one of our 6 regions, which you'll see on the next slide. Here. Great, you can see it divided into 6 regions with a red region highlighted. That's the Alice Springs and surrounds area. And to the right, you'll see a bit of a detailed map of Alice up in the right, as well as some day tours you can do out to the left here. So to get started on how to get to Alice Springs, it's always a very important part of your trip. In terms of airports, you can fly nonstop Qantas from Sydney, Melbourne, Perth, Adelaide, and Brisbane, or on Tiger nonstop from Sydney and Melbourne, so really excited about that. As well as the Aussie Air Pass through Qantas, that is a really great way to access the NT, as well as accessing it from the Ghan, which you can go from Darwin to Alice or from Adelaide to Alice as well. So once you get to the territory, some accommodation options. You have the Chifley Alice Springs, Aurora Alice Springs, Crown Plaza, and Lassiter's Hotel Casino. Chifley and Lassiter's are both 4.5 stars, and Aurora and Crown Plaza are both 4-star accommodations. And they all have quite a bit of rooms as well. So you do have a bit of options when it comes to Alice, as well as some dining experiences you have. There's a bit of an array there. You have Bojangles Saloon and Restaurant. That's more of a pub bar scene if that your clients just want to have a relaxing night in Alice, have a little bit of local flavor there. Earth Sanctuary actually offers a barbecue dinner with Outback fare, so it differs on what they're making. It's a nice way to engage with the Outback Red Center culture there. And the Juicy Rump, as steaks, beef, kangaroo steaks. It's very, very good. It's all flame grilled, basically on the menu. So that's unique, and that's in the Lassiter's Casino. And then we have tailor-made tours. They also do an original Outback bush barbecue, and that has ribeye, sausage, salads, all kind of an array of, you know, barbecue with a nice Australian spin on that. And then on into your first day in Alice. So this is the city of Alice. It's really fantastic starting point for the McDonnell Ranges, the Lara Pinta Trail, Palm Valley, Rainbow Valley, and various other fantastic nature and landscapes around the area. So one of the places many people want to see is the Alice Springs Desert Park. And the great thing about the desert park, which you'll see on the next slide here, is that you have it really explains to you the plants, the animals, and the landscapes of the Red Center. You're able to see it and immerse yourself in it, really. They have walk-through desert habitats, so you can actually walk through the various habitats and see it interact with the culture and the wildlife, as well as a nature theater where you can see birds of prey exhibits, and you have interaction there as well. And then at the bottom of the slide, you see some of the nocturnal animals that are quite elusive in the Outback, and they have a nocturnal tour that you can take, so you're actually able to see these animals that you may not get to see just wandering basically through the desert on your own. So it's a really great concentrated experience there. Now, if you have guests really looking for the reptile side of the Red Center, you have the Alice Springs Reptile Center. It has over 100 different species of reptiles, from geckos to crocodiles to goanna to frillneck lizards, so some more elusive that you can't spot on your own, some that are widely distributed through the Red Center, but it's a really great concentrated way to interact with them. You're able to hold some of the snakes and lizards and that. So it's a really neat experience. On day 2, your guests may choose to do something a bit more outback and adventurous. So one option is outback ballooning. You're woken up in the morning, brink of dawn, and you're taken out to the outback ballooning area where you will set up over the outback desert. You'll see the colors changing of the landscapes. You'll see the kangaroos waking up, really experiencing basically the outback waking up in the morning, which is great. You land and you have champagne and breakfast provided. And you have the option of doing a 30-minute or a 60-minute balloon ride. Or for those wanting to keep their feet firmly on the ground, we have camel tours, which you can do either sunrise or sunset or during the day. And they are also half day or just 1 hour. So there's some option there as well. And for those camel enthusiasts, if you have anyone there on the 13th of July, we have the Camel Cup, which is a fun, quirky outback experience that has riders and handlers going around an outback track. And then for your 3rd day of touring, you may choose to do some day tours that have some fantastic landscapes around Alice, such as the West MacDonald Ranges. It's about 100 miles west of Alice, so 161 kilometers. And there are water holes there you can swim in. It also is home to the Laura Pinta Trail, which I'll touch on a bit later. And there are various touring companies that go out to the West Macs. There's also Rainbow Valley. And they're freestanding cliffs. They're part of the James Range. They're home to rock paintings and petroglyphs. And Rainbow Valley cultural tours go out there, and you can do morning or afternoon. But the landscape is absolutely stunning. They stand alone. Really some great photo opportunities out there. And there's also Palm Valley, which is almost a little hidden oasis. It's in Finke Gorge National Park. And that's about 86 miles southwest of Alice. So there are small spring-fed pools here, and it's the only place in Central Australia where red cabbage palms grow. So if you have those looking for kind of a desert oasis feel, this is a really great experience as well. And AAT Kings heads out here. And then the Laura Pinta Trail, which I mentioned earlier, it's actually a 139-mile trail through the West MacDonald Ranges. So that's about 223 kilometers. It's broken down into 12 sections. You can be gone just on a day tour, or you can be gone for multiple days. It's actually one of the great walks of Australia, and it is one of the planet's top 20 treks. So for those looking for that trekking, hiking, outdoor experience, it's a really fantastic opportunity there. It runs from the Alice Telegraph Station to Mount Sonder, and there is transportation to the end of the trail. So if you have guests wanting to do tours off the back end of the trail or from Alice, you have those options. And along this, for those looking for some wildlife, you can actually find the endangered black-footed rock wallaby. So to find out more on these things, you can go to australiasoutback.com, which you see on the left, which is our NT site. And there's also centralaustraliantourism.com, which you see on the right here. So they're really fantastic resources for specific Red Center and Central Australia touring options. And then here's my contact details if you guys have any questions that I'm not able to get to at the end of this presentation. And I just want to thank everyone for listening in about the Northern Territory. And I'm going to hand it off to Sandy from Western Australia.
Thanks, Amanda. Fantastic. I'm Sandy Nerlich. I'm with Tourism Western Australia, and today I'm going to talk about one of my favorite destinations in Australia, Western Australia. The access to the region can be had by airline carriers such as Qantas, Virgin, even Qatar Airways. These days are flying into Western Australia via Doha into Perth. If you were to fly from U.S., you would travel via one of our gateway partners here today, Adelaide, or via Victoria through Melbourne to get to Perth. Flight time between Melbourne to Perth, the major gateway, would be about 4.5 hours. The best approach when considering a trip or planning an itinerary for Western Australia is to look at it through 5 regions. As you can see from the slide there, we are 4 times the size of Texas, and we take up 1/3 of the continent of Australia. So a pretty big place. We have just under 3 million people, though, living in the whole state of Western Australia. So if we were to look at this map in front of us here, we see quite colorful slide in front of you. So looking at the top, we have Australia's northwest, and that's really our ancient part of our state, and you'll see a lot of unique landscapes that we'll talk about in a bit. Along our coast, we have Australia's Coral Coast and Ningaloo Reef. Many of you may have heard of the Great Barrier Reef, but not know of Ningaloo Reef, and I'll show you a little bit of differences as we go along here today. The main gateway is Perth, and there, just a little small orange spot on the map is where you find Perth. And then at the bottom of our state, we have Australia's southwest. And then a big part of our state, of course, is our Australian golden outback. So what this slide will show you is that when clients come into Western Australia, they will most likely come in via Perth. And from here, what we want to do is decide where we want to take them. Do we want to start in Perth and take them up to the northwest, take them out to the golden outback, and through our southwest? So we'll just show you a little bit of points of interest. So here's the city of Perth. We're actually under a major refurbishment at the moment. The airports are nearly finished. The international destination airport and domestic terminals are all being refurbished. This is a great picture of the Swan River. We are developing the whole frontage of the river there, adding accommodation, entertainment areas, great public places for people to hang out, wine, and dine. And what I'd like to do is show you some nature and adventure day trips from the city of Perth that you can add to any itinerary. What's unique about Perth is we have 19 beautiful beaches that surround the city of Perth. And within 45 minutes on a ferry, you can come to beautiful Rottnest Island. This is home to the quokka, and that's the little creature you see on the top of the slide there. What's unique about Rottnest Island is, yes, its proximity to a major city, but also there are no cars allowed on the island. Clients can go there for a day, a half day. They can snorkel, swim, dive. Fantastic diving here as well. From here, I mentioned to you earlier, we have some great beaches that surround the city, and this is a unique experience that many may not be aware of. Within 45 minutes of the city of Perth, head to our coastline with Rockingham Wild Encounters, and clients could swim with dolphins on a guided tour, as you see there in the image on the left-hand side. And believe it or not, we have our very own Penguin Island, and here you can explore some of the little penguins. I have to say this is a great opportunity to see the little penguins, but truly it would be on a smaller scale than what you'd find in Melbourne. The Pinnacles is the full-day tour from the city of Perth. It's 3 hours north of the city. This is the #1 day tour out of Perth for people coming to visit, and I highly recommend it. The tour actually begins at a wildlife park where people can check off their list. They've seen a koala, a kangaroo, etc. Head to Cervantes, which is home to our crayfish, our lobster, and then come and explore this unique landscape. Now, moving down the state, we go to the southwest, which is the bottom of our state. And this is home to Margaret River. What's unique about our wine country is that it butts up against the bushland and also the beaches. So when clients stay in the Margaret River, they can choose to stay out in the outback areas amongst the vines or in the beaches. Lonely Planet deemed this region as one of the top 10 regions in the world, and it's due to the fact that it's a biodiversity hotspot where the plants, animals, and wildlife here, 60% of it can be found nowhere else. As you can see from this slide, there are a lot of great natural assets to this region. We are also home to Bustleton, which is that image on the far left-hand corner there of a jetty, and it's the longest jetty in the southern hemisphere. It's over 100 years old, and it goes for a mile long, and it actually has a train on board. We also have our southern forest, and this is really the area, as you can see from the slide, there's a walkway amongst the trees. This is really the area we talk about as our biodiversity hotspot. From the southwest, we head to our golden outback, and this is home to places like Kalgoorlie, which is our mining capital. One of the best ways to arrive into the region would be to take a train from Adelaide all the way across to Perth or arrive in Kalgoorlie. This particular region is famous for a couple of things. One of them is the wildflower season. We have the longest wildflower season in the world, and in fact, we have the largest collection of wildflowers found anywhere else on the planet. There are over 12,000 species of flowers, where 60% can only be found here. We are also home to Australia's widest beach. The image on the right-hand corner there is in an area known as Esperance, and this is Lucky Bay. Heading up to the top of the state, we go to our northwest, and the gateway to the northwest would be via the city of Broome. So if you were going to be traveling in, you could actually fly from Darwin out of the Northern Territory into Broome, or you can easily fly from Perth into Broome in about a 3.5-hour flight. In Broome, this is the pearling capital of Australia. Anyone interested in purchasing some pearls, the Paspaley pearls, were the #1 purchase by American Express visitors coming to Australia. This is also the region that's home to the Kimberley, and the New York Times deemed it as number 19 out of 46 places in the world to see recently. Of course, camel trekking for us is on the beach, famous Cable Beach. For accommodation, being that we're talking about nature today, I chose to show you Echo Beach Resort. This is about an hour-and-a-half ride from the township of Broome, and this is a true eco retreat. The location of this property has a choice of eco tents to luxurious cabins, and it sits right on the Humpback Highway, where we have 35,000 humpback whales across their path every year, and as well they have their own turtle research going on there. For nature and adventure, there's nothing like the Northwest. Just to give you a glimpse of some of the activities clients can experience, on the left-hand side we have the Bungle Bungles, which is over 300 million years old. To the right, we have the world's only horizontal waterfall. Basically, it's a waterfall that normally flows like any waterfall, but during the high tides, it actually sends the waterfall sideways. So here, clients can actually get on a boat and explore a waterfall that flows sideways. As far as wildlife goes, we're quite unique for wildlife in Western Australia. Take notice of the slide. You won't see a koala here because they don't actually come from Western Australia. We're home to the 10-foot wide wingspan wedge-tailed eagles or the 5-foot, 6-foot tall boxing kangaroos. In our Kimberley, we have the East Kimberley. Broome is actually in the west, and to the east we have places like El Questro, and the access to El Questro would be via Kununurra. And what's unique about this property is that it has at least 3 or 4 levels of accommodation to suit from very basic camping to luxury suites. As far as cruising goes, cruising in Western Australia, for the big ships we have 8 ports around the state, but with our smaller cruising, similar to your river cruising, we have companies like Orion Cruises, North Star Cruises, and Coral Princess that come into regions like this image here you see of King George Falls. And this is just some examples of the great experience with indigenous rock art and activities. What's great is they have these smaller boats that will actually get clients in and amongst the gorges. Then, last but not least, we have Ningaloo Reef. What's unique about Ningaloo Reef is that it's the largest fringing reef closest to shore. Different to the Great Barrier Reef, you don't actually have to take a boat out to go to the reef. You could simply go from the shore, as in the image in front of you, and start snorkeling some fantastic marine life. The access into the region is via Exmouth, which is about a 2-hour flight from Perth. Once they get into Exmouth, they have a number of activities they can take advantage of. We have dugongs, sea turtles, and there's quite a unique species, number of species that live in amongst Ningaloo Reef that you won't find anywhere else. We are also home to our whale sharks, and from early April for about 3 months of the year, clients can swim with these wonderful creatures. They're the world's biggest fish. For accommodation in Exmouth, we have a couple of choices here. The Novotel in Ningaloo puts you right in the heart of Ningaloo Reef. In about 5 minutes drive from here, you can actually be snorkeling. Or if someone's looking for a luxury eco retreat, they can consider South Salis. You can see from the image at the very bottom there, someone's snorkeling right in front of the resort. I'm Sandy Nerlich. I'm the Regional Director for Tourism Western Australia. My details are here as well. I'm happy to assist you anytime you need help with itinerary planning. And what I'd like to do now is just show you a couple of examples of some of the exciting things we're doing with some of the preferred partners in this current campaign. We are working, of course, with all the wholesale partners that are exclusive to Signature. And as you can see here with Abercrombie and Kent, they've offered a promotion here to save $250. Travel 2, you can see they've got a couple of other options here for incentives to have you work with them during certain times of the year for this campaign. And then as well, Brendan Vacations and Trafalgar. What we will do is after this presentation, we will send all of you the details about those incentive programs and the special deals that we have built around this particular campaign and using all of the partners here today. And if anyone has any questions, we'll be taking questions from you now. I think it doesn't look like we have too many questions, and looks like we've answered most of your questions here today. But if not, we will have a copy of this presentation sent out with all of our details. So if you wish to contact us with further inquiries, we're happy to assist you. Thank you very much. See you in August.